Donald Trump Jr. has been under fire the last couple of days, and along with that has been the Trump-Russia scandals that have imploded over the last 72 hours. So let's try to explain it here. Basically, what had happened was that Donald Trump Jr., who has lied and said that there was no collusion, he called it a witch hunt. The New York Times reporting here about this, I'm going to try to explain it all here. He's lied about it. He said that there's no collusion, it's all been a witch hunt, even though the New York Times reported an email chain in which he said that Rob Goldwater knew a pop singer who knew a lawyer who was connected to the Kremlin who had damaging dirt on Hillary Clinton. So he emailed him, set up a schedule and a time. He met with that lawyer, and the meeting, the lawyer didn't have any dirt, so him, Jared Kushner, and Paul Manafort, former Trump campaign manager at the time of June 2016, just basically got up and left. So let's try to explain it all here. I'm going to do my best. New York Times reporting this. Quote, June 3rd, 2016, the June 3rd, 2016 email sent to Donald Trump Jr. could have hardly been more explicit. One of his father's former Russian business partners has been contacted by a known senior Russian government official and was offering to produce the Trump team with dirt on Hillary Clinton. They go on to say, on June 9th, the Russian lawyer was sitting in the younger Trump's office on the 25th floor, just one floor below Donald Trump. So, here is a video of Donald Trump Jr. talking about Russia about a year ago or so. Let's take a look.
Both sons described the investigation into Russian collusion with the Trump campaign as an effort to undermine their father's presidency.
It's the greatest hoax of all time. I was there throughout the campaign. We have no dealings in Russia. We have no projects in Russia. We have nothing to do with Russia.
I mean, to me, it's without a question, reads and smells like a witch hunt.
This was him on Hannity just the last night. Let's take a look at this video.
I didn't know these guys well enough to understand that if this talent manager from Miss Universe, had this kind of thing. So I wanted to hear him out. I'd been reading about scandals that people were probably underreporting for a long time. So maybe it was something that had to do with one of those things. I mean, this was her perhaps involvement with the Russian government. This is pre-Russia mania. This is 13 months ago, before I think the rest of the world was talking about that, trying to build up this narrative about Russia. I'd never even heard of it before, that day. I think it became pretty apparent to, Jared and Paul, who I think Jared left after a few minutes. Paul got in his phone.
She said that, yeah.
Yeah, this is
you
her
remember
account.
Paul
I do remember that. Yeah, we were all there. I was basically sitting there listening as a courtesy. I was probably pressing because the pretext of the meeting was, hey, I have information about your opponent. It was this, hey, some DNC donors may have done something in Russia and they didn't pay taxes. I was like, what does this have to do with anything? If there was something that came from it that was shady, if it was a danger to national security, I would obviously bring it right to someone, but I didn't know what anything was. It turns out it was nothing.
So right off the bat, you can tell that the right-wing narrative about Trump-Russia has completely 180'd, flip-flopped, changed course. It was going north, now it's going south, okay? So it went from, we never did anything wrong with the Russians, believe me. It's all fake news, it's all a big witch hunt, believe me. I know that they were good people, and so they did good things, believe me. They're all swell guys. It's all fake news. Fake news. 2, that was the Sean Hannity would go out and say, there's nothing there. The destroyed Trump media, there's nothing there. Stop your bullying. And then that was the narrative of all of Fox News. Kimberly Guilfoyle was another one who was like, there's nothing there, just stop. And so the new narrative has become, okay, so maybe there was something, but it wasn't illegal. It wasn't illegal what he did. That's become the new narrative. So don't let their bullshit distract you from Oh, so you guys aren't saying that there isn't any more connections anymore. You guys are saying that there may have been a few, but everything that they did wasn't. It was perfectly legal. I promise. It's not illegal if the president does it. Where have I heard that one before? Oh wait, that's what Richard Nixon said. Oh, okay. So, my thoughts on this whole thing. So, America has become a shitty place. We hold our politicians to completely different standards, and it's all based on ideological bullshit, and it's not based on anything that's actually true, meaningful, consistent, based in logic. It's all bullshit. To every person out there that's saying the fucking stupidest response to this ever, Hillary Clinton should have gone to jail. That's so moronic. Listen, I'm a liberal. Yes, Hillary Clinton should have gone to jail. She should have gone to jail for what she did. But as I'm about to prove, so should he. And you don't get to be this all high and mighty, smart, intellectual thinker and get away with such partisan hackery and bullshit like this. Nobody, Fox News, all of yesterday was basically saying, Hillary Clinton did it, so I don't understand why Donald Trump's son can't do it. I mean, she did it, why can't they? Okay. That's all Greg Gutfeld did on the 5 last night, was saying, listen, he was holding his politicians to different standards. And that's what amazes me about this whole thing, is that you expect the Democrats not to do anything else, or not to do what they did. But as soon as they break the law, Donald Trump's son, as soon as he breaks the law, and Paul Manafort and Jared Kushner, as soon as all of them break the law, oh, it wasn't illegal, because we're going to focus on the fact that they didn't get anything, which means that it didn't happen, which means it wasn't illegal. They didn't get what they wanted to go for. No, he went in with intent to get dirt on Hillary Clinton during the presidential election. That in and of itself is against the law, as I'm about to prove. An undercover cop who's about to bust you for a drug deal, if he doesn't get the drugs, you can still be punished for having those drugs in there just based on the cop going there. So the standard of that, well, they didn't get what they were actually there for. No, the intent was there. And so they all lie. So what's from us to believe that this hasn't happened before? Many other times where they actually did get some dirt on Hillary Clinton, and we just don't know about it yet. That's totally possible and could totally be a believable situation. So this whole bullshit argument about how Hillary Clinton did it, so therefore Donald Trump should be able to do it. No, how about none of them should be able to do it? Hillary Clinton's emails, she should have gone to jail for that. The way she handled classified information. That's also true to almost every Bush person in his administrations. They all had private email servers which had classified information in it. A report showed that during the Hillary Clinton email trial and scandal. So yes, all of them should be thrown in jail. I think the Bush administration should be thrown in for war crimes, but that's beside the point. They should all be held to the same standard. You are not above the law just because you are in a position of authority. That's not how that works. Hillary Clinton should be thrown in jail just as much as Donald Trump Jr. and Senator from Alabama, why am I blanking on his name? Racist, Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions should be thrown in jail. Mike Flynn should be thrown in jail. Jared Kushner, Paul Manafort should all be thrown into jail. Because it's consistent. And I don't have one standard for one team of politicians, and I have a different standard for the other team of politicians because I align with the right, therefore they have a different standard. And so they can break a few laws before I really get upset. But the Democrats, they look at me funny. I kind of want them to go to jail. That's not how the world works. That's not how reality works. You don't get to just pick and choose what laws people can break and not break and maybe go to jail for laws that they did break. That's not how the world fucking works. Okay? So, again, I would just like to point out that call out any Republican bullshit about how the narrative has changed from there was no connection. It's all a great big witch hunt just to undermine the presidency of Donald Trump, and how it's the destroy Trump media, the deep state, the Democrats, all these different things. I mean, it went so far as to say that I think that some people on Fox News came out and said, you know what, guys, I got it. You know what could have happened? This lawyer could have been sent up by the Democrats, and they were playing 3D chess and doing moves all over the place so that they could set up intent and probable cause for the Trump team to collude with Russia, but we knew that he was going to win no matter what, and all these allegations were going to come up later, so the Democrats decided to lose the election and then later undermine the presidency by giving this story to the New York Times about this lawyer that Donald Trump's son met. What? That makes absolutely no sense. You're telling me that there are people who actually believe that the Democrats set up this lawyer, paid this lawyer to collude with, because that's what it is, it's collusion, to collude with the Trump team, purposely lose the election so that they could come back and impeach Donald Trump and win in 2020 or win in 2018 at the Senate and House levels. Is that literally the position you're going to take? Because that sounds ridiculous. I mean, I would believe the Democrats would play 3D chess to lose the election because they'd much rather lose to conservatives than win with progressives, but that's a different point. So I'm about to prove to you how he breaks not one but two different laws. So if you're a lawyer and you're looking at this case and you want to say, okay, he's not a citizen in the Donald Trump Jr. isn't a citizen in the United States anymore. He's a part of a political he's technically a citizen, but under the eyes of the law, he could be considered an asset or an associate to the Trump team. Okay, if you want to look at it that way, he broke campaign finance rules. One of them, actually. Not only that, but if you argue, okay, well then he's not an associate to the Trump team. At the time, he was just a private citizen. Okay, then he breaks the Logan Act. So he breaks two different laws as two different sets of people, as a private citizen and as a surrogate associate councilman to the Trump presidential team. So what is the Logan Act and what is the campaign finance rules he breaks? Well, good thing I did my research and I wrote them all down. So, the statute that is in question is under the campaign finance rules. It's 52 USC 3121 and 36 USC 510. It says, quote, a foreign national shall not directly or indirectly make a contribution or a donation of money or other thing of value or expressly or impediently promise to make a contribution or a donation in connection with state, local, or federal elections. So, what that means is a foreign government shall not directly or indirectly make a contribution or a donation of money or other thing of value, and what was valuable at the time, dirt on your political opponent, which is, of course, illegal when you're doing it with a different state in a different nation. You know, someone made an example about how Gore got a debate tape of George W. Bush and turned it away because he could have. He had political research. He could have easily understood how George W. Bush was going to debate, but his team turned that tape away, reported it to, I think, the FBI at the time, and said, listen, we don't want to take this because we think it could have been stolen. So, And this clause obviously mentions money, or a contribution or a donation of money or other thing of value. And so if you want to say, well, okay, that wasn't dirt on Hillary Clinton is invaluable, we still get him, well, not we, but the lawyers on the left who want to prosecute him, get him on a donation of money because directly or indirectly, Russia had to hire somebody, whether it be hackers or get mainly hackers, hire hackers to take this information and steal it from the United States to give it to their government. So indirectly, they use the source of money, which is then a type of donation under the U.S. campaign finance system. So it's not the liberals who are just trying to pin this on him, it's the law. And the law is the law, right? That's what conservatives say. We will have law and order, okay? Law and order. I will be the law and order president, believe me. Okay, well, the law fucking states that what he did was illegal. So do it, Trump. Arrest your son. Arrest him. But okay, so let's say that that just doesn't count. Let's just say it just doesn't count. Okay, the Logan Act. I present to you the Logan Act, passed by John Adams, the founding father. So if you disagree with this, why do you hate America? Why are you unpatriotic? Why do you hate the founding fathers? Why do you spit on this country? That's what conservatives ask liberals all the time, so I'm just reversing it back to you. But okay, so the Logan Act, passed in 1799 under President John Adams. Obviously, I just said that. So the Logan Act, or Chapter 18, U.S. Code 953, this is what it says. Quote, any citizen of the U.S. who, without authority of the United States, directly or indirectly, commences or carries on any correspondence or intercourse with any foreign government or any agent thereof. There's a lot of jargon in there. It basically says any if there's any agent of the government that you with intent to influence the measures or conduct of any foreign government or any agent thereof, all these. But the point I want to get to is, or to defeat the measures of the United States, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned no more than 3 years or both. Let me break that down for you. The Logan Act of 1799, passed by a founding father, says that any citizen of the U.S. who, without authority of the U.S. directly or indirectly communes or carries any correspondence or intercourse with any foreign government or agent thereof. So, without a meeting set up directly by the United States, if you go in and talk to the government, you are breaking the law and should be fined and sentenced to prison for no more than 3 years. Specifically to defeat the measures of the United States. The measures of the United States are to have a free and fair, democratically held election. That's meddling and influencing that election. That's defeating the measures of the United States. So he breaks 2 laws. So to wrap this up, Donald Trump Jr. has broken one federal law and a campaign finance law. So I guess 2 federal laws. I think also the Logan Act was amended to be considered a felony. So he literally has committed a felony. And he's broken campaign finance rules. And the Law and Order Party has somehow still been able to defend him on this. Which, by the way, I would just like to point out and have a little fun here. He's literally had 3 different positions in the last 4 or 5 days. Literally before the story broke, you asked him on the street, oh yeah, we had no connection with Russia, no collusion whatsoever. You asked him the day the story broke, or maybe a few hours after the story broke, we didn't have a meeting there, that's fake news. Okay, then the Sun comes out as New York Times keeps stripping more articles out and pushing out all these different things about how we have 5 Donald Trump employees and surrogates confirm that he went to this meeting. He goes, okay, well, we went to this meeting, but we didn't go to the meeting under what they're reporting. It's still fake news. And then it comes out that they have the emails, and so he comes out and goes, fine, we had that meeting, but it wasn't illegal. I don't know, I've got nothing. Let me just try to do this, let me see if anything sticks to the wall. So I would also like to point out that Trump's reaction to this has been outlandishly quiet. When Comey would come out and say that all these different things, oh, that's fake news, or the Michael Flynn thing, oh, that's fake news, it's a witch hunt. With this, the only thing that happened with him is after, I think 2 days after the story broke, so I think yesterday, because I think the story broke Saturday, so Sunday, I think Monday, maybe Monday night or Tuesday morning, a tweet came out, and I don't think it was actually from Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump said it to a spokesperson. The spokesperson said Donald Trump, 1, didn't know the meeting was happening, and 2, I forget. He said something of the effect of he had no idea that the meeting was happening, and he thinks that his son was transparent in doing what he did, but it hasn't been the loud, obnoxious, in your face, this is fake news, this is false, it's a witch hunt, because he kind of knows on the inside, shit, that's really not fake news. So Donald Trump's reaction to this has also been something to look at, because it's not the normal Donald Trump reaction to a story like this. So as of right now, we just have to wait and see. We've got the only thing that really doesn't make sense is the lawyer. She's Kremlin connected, that's been proven, but she didn't have any dirt on Hillary Clinton, so I'm wondering what that's all about, and why would Donald Trump Jr. release these emails on purpose through his account if I guess he thought that it wasn't illegal, but there's so many laws in the U.S. Constitution that I'm surprised that he would release this, because of all the different laws, there could be one that is used against you. So I don't understand this at all. So basically what we have as of right now of me recording this is Donald Trump Jr., Paul Manafort, and Jared Kushner all met with a lawyer with the intent to find out dirty Hillary Clinton secrets to use in the presidential campaign at the time. They lied about it. And so now they're hopefully going to face punishment for this as well. A few questions remain. Like I said, the lawyer, I don't understand her full story. I know she's Kremlin connected, but if she said she had dirt on Hillary Clinton and then didn't, I'm wondering what that's all about. I'm wondering why Donald Trump Jr. released these emails on purpose. And I'm also wondering, A, what did Trump know? And B, when did he know it? Because this could get him impeached, and I'm all for not impeaching him because I think Pence is way worse. But if he blatantly breaks the law, if he knew about this meeting and lied about it, that's a high crime and misdemeanor. Let's get impeachment hearing going. But if he didn't know anything about this, then hold off. The president himself hasn't done anything technically against the law. So let's wait until a stronger case comes up for it. I mean, I'm not hoping for one, but let's wait and see. Let's wait and see where the facts guide us, So that's where we are now. And I just want to end, I want to end stressing this point. Don't fall for the right-wing, neoconservative, Trumplican bullshit propaganda 180 flip switch on the narrative that is being strung out of Trump Russia, which was before Sean Hannity and Eric Bolling and Kimberly Guilfoyle were all sniffers of power and wanted to defend Trump because they want power and Trump has power and maybe he can make Eric Bolling assistant deputy to the vice president of the interior of the House or something. just so that he could have some power. Kimberly Guilfoyle could have some power. Sean Hannity could have had Sean Spicer's job. So they're all defenders of power. Don't get sucked up in the switch and hypocritical bait and switch of there was no collusion to there was some collusion, but the collusion that did happen wasn't illegal. Don't fall for that bullshit. It's all bullshit. Don't believe it. And final point. Hold your fucking politicians to the same goddamn standard. I'm sick and tired of it. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not smart. Hillary Clinton should go to jail. Donald Trump Jr. should go to jail. End of story. There is no in between. There is no but. There is no well. No. Hold your politicians to the same standard. We are America. We should have a better standard for this. Shit like this on both sides, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump's son and Mike Flynn. This shit happens in Saudi Arabia. This shit happens in Iraq. This happens in Afghanistan. This happens in Russia. This happens in China, Africa, some countries in that like Zimbabwe. This shouldn't happen here. So hold your politicians to the same standard. So that's all we know so far of the Donald Trump Jr. and Trump-Russia conspiracy, somewhat provable now. We have to wait to find out more. Let's see what happens in the next few days. Hopefully something awful won't happen.